We're live. Oh my goodness. All right. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. I
Mhm.
feel like I should have known you before now because I feel like everybody that I know and love knows and loves you.
Aw,
And somehow
thank
our worlds have only just connected, which is insane
that's how
because
it goes.
you're an OG, and I know that's like a silly term these days. But you've been here for a while before we even get to like formal intros. Like, when did you come into Web3 or the on-chain ecosystem?
I started my journey in end of 2020 with my partner Ja, who is a visual artist in the space, and then I started to mint in 2021.
Wow. So that is definitely OG status.
I really, it kills me to think OG is like 3 to 4 years. But yeah, I mean, if that's what they call me, that's what they call me.
It's I think those of us that were going through like existential crisis during the pandemic found
Word.
each other in this weird little clubhouse like
Yeah.
community. And
I
but
feel like everyone was just trying to figure something out. I don't know if I could curse in here, but everybody
yes,
was
we can. Yeah.
okay, great, because I curse a lot. But everybody was trying to figure some shit out
Yeah.
to be real. And the world was in a transcending space. So, only right for us to be transcending in the webs too.
Absolutely. All right. So, welcome everybody. We're getting some folks through the door. This is the Good News Show. This is our Super Chain Culture edition of the Good News Show.
Nice.
Another exciting episode where we delve into the minds of visionaries and trailblazers who are redefining the future of art and tech. And today we have the incredible honor of sitting down with Latasha, who is a polymathic creatrix whose
Mhm.
work transcends multiple genres and mediums and whose powerful message of self-empowerment and healing resonates deeply with me and I'm sure many others. And
Um,
Latasha's artistic journey has evolved to encompass dance, punk, and a myriad of other expressive forms, making her a true pioneer in the creative space. So, welcome.
Thank you so much. I love that intro. Thank you.
Amazing. And you, I mean, I just was at FWB Fest and
Nice.
I am so bummed because I literally left like 15 minutes before your killer performance.
Oh no, so fun. You missed out on such a good time.
You were like on my calendar and I had this crazy migraine and
Oh no, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like the altitude does a lot to people too. So yeah.
thank you. Make me feel less like an old lady because I
No,
was I don't know why I'm like pooping out every night at 6 o'clock. Like,
that was
seriously.
there was a lot of people like that. The first day for a lot of people was tough.
Yeah, but everything I saw, I had the biggest FOMO and like the
Oh,
energy around your performance there, like crazy, amazing, awesome, spiritual was one
yeah.
of the words I heard. Like, talk to us about what it means to like be in those spaces with people that you've built community with over the last couple of years and just how that feels to be empowered like that.
IRL experiences are my favorite, to be honest, because I feel like we've all found each other via digital. And then, as much as people say that the digital realm might not be real or things like that, there's just so much things we're all going through together digitally, especially in Web3. And there's like so many emotional connections that we're making and synopsises going through each other. And once we get in front of each other, I think there's just something that is really powerful that happens to all of us. And everything starts to make sense.
Yeah.
And so I love performing for this audience. I love like connecting and going to festivals and conferences because I really get to see who people's auras are and get to really know them in a deeper space. So it's always joy. I'm really grateful to be here with so many people that just have similar minds and are thinking differently and all the things.
And I feel like your fans are like a special breed. Like they are like hardcore
Yes,
tattoo fans.
I call them the infinites. They don't know that, but in my mind, all my fans are the infinites, and they just like are so beyond. And I'm so grateful for all of them and all their love for real.
So tell us about this draw towards emerging tech. Like what is it about what you've seen just over the last 3 years or so, right up to doing some really innovative things. I think as a musician, you are somebody who's really stretching the tech right now more
Mhm.
than anybody I see in the space. And we can get into kind of the nuances of your stuff with Bonfire, the thing that you did recently where the people were rewarded to share for sharing a music video, which was really exciting. Like
Mhm.
tell us where that fascination came from. Was it pre Web3 that you were interested in how tech could influence music, or is this a whole new world?
Honestly, I don't know, to be honest. I feel like culture is tech in my mind. Like it's just really connected, and I feel like being uh, an artist and a musician is technical. Like I always have to think of innovation and different ways of saying things and doing things, and it just comes really naturally to want to take risk and try stuff. And so being in the space just kind of like made it physical, and not really physical because a lot of shit is digital, but made it just tangible and available to me to play. And I love experimenting and trying things and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. I'm not afraid of that. And so I think this is like a really good space for somebody like me and artists that think that way too.
I love that. And I think just reiterating that point of like play, right? Like I was just talking with my wife recently because she just left the law practice. She's like, I want to become a recovering lawyer, and I'm like, you should just come and play in Web3. And she's like, "There's I'm
Mhm.
so afraid of doing the wrong thing." I'm like, I don't think, and I think first of all, the best entrepreneurs, the best creatives, the best business people in the world are not afraid to fail,
Yeah,
right?
that's a fact.
And fail is like not even a word. It's like it's ideation. It's like chipping away. It's the
Yeah,
next thing. Like you're not even thinking about the thing that went wrong because you're already somewhere else.
yeah, very much so.
I don't know about you, but I felt like, and maybe this is just an age thing, but like I felt like Onchain has given us permission to fail frequently and
Mhm.
continue
Absolutely.
like chipping away. Do you want to talk about any of the things that have like maybe led you to the next thing? I don't want to call them failures.
Yeah, I mean, I I don't know if they're failures, but I learned a lot being outside and inside of Web3. Before getting into Web3, just taking the risk of leaving a 9 to 5 and figuring it out by myself and not really having any team or structure. I had to like fail in budgeting. I had to fail in like different ways of releasing art and stuff. I also Everybody knows me. I think very big. And so I go hard and big on every project, but sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you just need to like chip away and do something small. And so that's something I'm still working through to this day. But in Web3, I think some things that I learned so quickly in the last couple of years is about relationships. I feel like when we all came into the space, there was so much trust in the space and so much trust in each other. And very like quickly when the bear market hit, so much that changed. To be honest. Um, and so I really had to gather my bearings in 2022 and 2023 and figure out what my relationships are and how I value my relationships and who I want to work with and partnerships and all that stuff. Um, what's the point of a partnership with me and what's the point of a partnership with some platform or somebody I'm working with, really making it real. I think sometimes when we have gotten in the space, we just get so excited about an opportunity. And sometimes those opportunities don't really speak to your true value sets. And so those are some of the things that I really had to work through in the last couple of years. And I'm really proud that I am working through them because I think they're making me make better decisions now. Decisions now.
I love vision.
Decisions.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they're helping me make better choices now for sure.
I love that you're talking about that as well, because it touches me in a different way. Like I have, and I haven't been able to shake this in 43 years, but like a lot of financial insecurity.
Mm, talk
Even
about
when like money is like really, really good, like sometimes, or even when it's not really good, but like, and an opportunity comes for you and you know in your heart, like this is not the right thing for me and my but there's cash, right? And it's
Yeah,
like that knee-jerk reaction for me has been like, well, I have to say yes just in case there's not another thing around the corner. But like
exactly.
trying to get better with like those decisions, and like
Absolutely.
for you as a creator, like does this serve my artistic vision? Like I imagine there's some decisions there that you or opportunities that you've had to say no to.
Absolutely. That's such a big case for musicians, especially, and artists, especially. Like, you know, the scarcity mindset is something that is just so programmed into so many creatives. And so you just are trying to grab, 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 but like you find yourself grabbing so much that you led yourself into a different existence than you really thought your purpose was for.
Mm-hmm.
And so, luckily, I think that everybody who does do that, they always realign and find themselves back to like, okay, this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing. That was a lesson. Thank you for the lesson. Now back to this, you know? But yeah, money is hard. Money is the challenging thing that a lot of people deal with. I mean, I'm very grateful that I found this space because I feel like it helped me test my money skills and like challenge me to really look at how I deal with finances and how I deal with money, and also how my mindset was so in a lack mindset at one point, and now it's not so much. I still have my days, but you know, I feel like the space offered me this opportunity to see that money is also something we could play with, also something that we could enjoy, also something that is going to be up and down and transcend. And yeah, it's an energy form always, but like really, really now we're seeing it in like real time with what we're doing.
And I still feel optimistic about this like new creator economy, and I think there's been a lot of shifts, right? Like I think what we saw in 2021 was just like crazy numbers, volume, crazy prices of NFTs, like
Mm-hmm.
very fruitful for a lot of people, not for
Yeah.
me because I missed everything, but that's
Oh
okay.
no.
I had like one win and it was, yeah, but we
Oh,
weren't even good at it. No, but there was this huge wave, and then there was this, I think, platforms that came along that were like really empowering seemingly a lot of creators, and then it just kind of fell out when the creator royalties went off the table and people
mhm.
realized that yes, a lot of people and businesses and companies that came here not really for the creators, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about you, but I feel like this response that we're seeing now, where it's like we're moving away from mainnet, we're moving to like cheaper access and entry points for people. I think there's a really interesting conversation there for creators, but it's so early in that process
Yeah.
that I think people are looking at like, okay, well, with base, like there's a lot of folks that are doing mints that are like $1. Like, how do I possibly sustain my creativity with $1, right? And
Yeah.
not thinking about the bigger picture. Like, I would love to get your take on kind of like then versus now, and
Yeah.
what pathways maybe you see for creators and for
Yeah.
yourself.
You know, it's interesting because I am such a big fan of the 2021s and the 2022s, obviously, as a musician that made a lot out of those times and received so much value out of those times. However, I think what had to happen was where we are right now, where we're like witnessing a transcendence and like kind of a transformation on how to navigate this whole system. Um, I can't say it's perfect because I still think there's so much work that needs to be done for culture, creatives, communities in this space. Um, I don't think we're at a spot where everything is right. I still think that a lot of platforms need to consider artists at the forefront of what they're doing and culture at the forefront of the tech. However, I do think that there is this like notion that we're all working towards getting a billion people into the space, right? And so a lot of the ideas that the platforms are doing is in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of a billion people in Web3 yet, to be honest. And I know a lot of people think that's shaky of me, but as a woman of color and a woman in general, I think we got a lot of work to do before we could get a billion people in this spot. But I think I am liking the parts that I am liking are like the amounts of people that are coming into the space.
Mm.
Like recently with my new mint, like having so many different like connection points now with all of these people buying my mint and knowing that I could like connect with them via wallet is so cool. Like I could just do a lot more with that than just having one collector at a time sometimes. But I don't know. It's really a case by case basis because I like both worlds.
Right.
Sometimes I like both worlds. It really is about what the goal is and the vision is for the creatives.
I love that you touched on like being able to connect via the wallet, because I heard something at NFT Paris. It was somebody in the fashion industry, and she said, never before has a designer or merchant been able to see what's in the closet of the person that walks out with a sweater.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that kind of blew my mind, because I'm
That's
like,
fire.
that's like you as a musician. Like, if we take it 20 years ago, like buying a CD,
Yeah.
like you would never be able to see what was in that person's collection, or
Never.
airdrop them your single, or
Exactly.
take it to your
Exactly.
show. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, there's
You
so much
know?
power in that. I just, we just got to get cleaned up with the mechanics of it all and like make sure that it's super easy for people to onboard onto it. But yeah, knowing that that is the future that we're heading into is really, really amazing.
And I hate to use this word, because, and I think it's like phygital. We need a new word for this, but we like when we think about gamification, like I love what you're doing right now with your current drop. Like you have this thing where you're like, we're the top person who mints is going to get, a conversation with you, a reading with you, and like a shirt. Like you're
Mhm.
incentivizing activity.
Yeah, yeah. And that's always kind of been something that was my goal for all of my collectors. I've always wanted to give so much, but it's really complicated and challenging
Right.
to even connect with some people on the space. But with my new platform, it's like super cool that I could see who's on my leaderboard, see who's like, a top mentor, and really get to connect with those people via Twitter or however they, decide to connect with me. And it's fun. Like I'm making this whole like story. It's not even a story. It's the meta of my mind of like getting out of the matrix. And my fans are helping me get out of the matrix by minting, and that's like really, really fun to dive into. And it literally is how my mind is working right now.
Well, let's go to the creative part, because I feel like I could talk to you about the tech piece for days, but I want our audience to get to know you as a creator as well. Like, can you share with us like the journey that led to you becoming such a multifaceted artist?
Yeah.
Like, what inspires you to explore and blend all these different genres and mediums into your work?
Well, I grew up in a Latin and Caribbean background. So my mother is Puerto Rican, Haitian, and then my dad is Jamaican, and then my stepdad's Panamanian. And so I grew up with like lots of different music. And then I grew up in Brooklyn, which, if you know New York City and Brooklyn, music is just like constantly on and everywhere. And I grew up thinking like, oh, I want to be a singer, but my mother was like, absolutely not. And so
Why?
she's just scared of it. And my mother wanted to be a singer as a younger child too. And she just was like, how you gonna make any money like
Mm.
this industry and blah blah. And so I would secretly just like write and do poetry and things like that on the side while I was getting good grades and being a nerd. So I always had like a nerd core vibe about me, but I always also was like this like deep lover of music.
Mm.
And so out of college, I started to study hip hop and really dive deep into like Black performance art and psychology. So I thought I was going to go into journalism, but I started writing plays, and the plays started turning into poetry, and then the poetry started turning into ciphers. And before I knew it, I was like opening for Big Sean, Kanye West, Q-Tip, and all these crazy people. But realized very quickly that one, I needed to know myself as an artist more. Two, I liked a lot of different things.
Mm,
And the industry, I didn't feel could hold an artist that liked so many different things in that way without making me a pop artist.
mm,
Um, and so I was like, I want to figure it out for myself. And went through a lot of deep emotional depressions about it, but came out with a lot of understanding of who I am. And so did a lot of crazy things independently, like worked with Nick Littlemore from Empire of the Sun, did a lot of sync and had my music on all types of movies and TV, and just always figured it out independently, which I was really proud of. But then COVID hit, and of course,
mm.
that's how I found Web3. Um, but the mix of everything that makes me like a multifaceted creator is just the journey I've been on. I've learned so many different types of arts and mediums. And I was a graphic designer at one point in my life. I was a creative director at another point in my life, and kind of had to do it to just sustain myself.
Mhm.
And now I'm here with all of these skill sets. And, but music is still like the home base for me, because music helps me heal and understand and relief and express and empower. And so that's where I like to live, to tell my story.
It sounds like it's almost like a transcendent experience for you, and
Yeah.
I'm curious to know is if there's like a part of the creative process that you love the most. Like I hear people talk about, and I've experienced this as a painter. Like there's a point where you go into this state where you forget to eat. I mean, I could use that right now because I'm heavily like you, you just are there, and it's something like almost as close to spiritual as you could get. Like, do you
Yeah.
experience that? And is there a particular part of that creative process where you feel it?
There's two places that I feel it the most. It's when I'm alone with the music and I'm just starting to get into the writing flow.
Mm,
I am a stream of conscious writer, so a lot of it just comes in and I just release. And the second place is in performance, when I'm on stage and like having the moment with the fan is like, or not even family, with the people there. It becomes so much more beyond me once it's out there in the world in that way. And I don't know, there's just something so really, really powerful about performance. And that's my favorite place to be. I love the stage. And so, yeah, those are the two transcending places that I like to live in the most.
Has there been any moments that you've experienced where you've either been surprised or moved by somebody's response to your creativity?
Yeah, whenever I've, had a fan come up to me and cry about a show, or, tell me like, "Oh my God, I feel like alive. Thank you." That's what makes me keep going. Despite all the crazy risk and trajectories that I've been on in my journey, it's that love that I get from people, and that reminder that this is beyond me is why I keep doing what I do.
And I, just observing what I did at FWB and seeing how your fans particularly gather around you, like, what do you think it is, that interconnectedness that you've created, like community wise? Like, what is that secret sauce apart from you?
I think it's the understanding that we all want to get free. Um,
Mm.
and like whatever that means. Because freedom is a construct that I'm still trying to understand. But I think everybody that I'm connected with wants to feel freedom and wants to like feel like they can just be empowered to do themselves and be themselves. And I think that's what keeps us connected. Um yeah, I hope that's what keeps us connected. At least that's what keeps me connected with the people that I'm connected with. It's this reminder that we are all in a journey of being our freest selves.
Can you talk a little bit more? You touched on it slightly, and I know you've referenced this before, but this idea of like escaping the matrix and stepping into your own revolution, like,
Yeah,
I kind of interpret that as like the freedom to explore new dimensions
yeah.
and breaking out. But I would love to hear like how you think about that and how it influences the work that you put out?
Yeah, I have so many ways of thinking of this thing, man. First of all, I love The Matrix. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, along with The Fifth Element. Um, but when I think of it, I go back to the Four Agreements all the time.
Mm.
That is one of my favorite books.
Yes.
And this concept of like society's dream versus your own dream, and like kind of being caught up in society's dream is what I feel a lot of us are in, right? Like we're all like caught up by somebody else's idea of something we're supposed to be. And so a lot of my life I felt like I had to be for somebody else's vision of what I'm supposed to be it my mother, be it school, be it whatever, be it a job, etc. And I really want a world where people can be who they want to be if it's not harming or anyone physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I
Right.
think a world where people could like freely express themselves in their art, and a world where people could build things that they want to build for the world, and have the monetary support and etc. to do so is a utopia that I dream of often. And so if I could like create in that mindset is why I am the way I am, and is what the Matrix idea is for me. It's like that way of breaking out of this construct that somebody is trying to keep you in.
To that point, is there anybody on like your creative wish list that you would want to collaborate with? Is there, anybody who perhaps like shares your similar mindset and vision?
I have so many people I want to create with, man. It's so tough. Like people are always like, who's the music artist you want to build with? I'm like, oh my God. It shifts, honestly. Currently, I just want to really create with myself right now. I know that's a little odd, but I've just been so busy that creativity has gotten a smaller pocket of my existence. And I'm grateful. Like everything that's moving and grooving right now is so amazing to watch, all the seeds that I plant blossom. But I really just miss having my like hands in it and having a team do all the other stuff. Because right now I'm currently doing everything. Like I'm managing myself and doing all this. But shout out to all the like fam that just taps in when I need support. But yeah, I don't know. I think if anybody that always stays on the top of my mind is Missy Elliott, because I think like the way she thinks and sees the world is very so grandiose and incredible. Yeah, she always has a really special place in my heart for creativity, and always has since I was a kid. So yeah.
And I feel like she's somebody who never put herself in a box either, right? Like yes, hip hop, but like always like genre bending.
Exactly.
Like if you listen to some of her music now, it sounds contemporary.
Exactly. It's literally timeless, and that's what I want to offer as well in my life. So yeah, Missy is one of those.
I hate to give you one of these questions, but like if you had like a magic ball and 5 years from now could be like kind of looking back, what would be like that one big thing that you would want to accomplish creatively?
I creatively want is this creative? I really want to find my solid world of fans and supporters. I think right now that's like so much of the game is just making as much music and creative so that I could attract that group. But if anything, it's like going on tour with a world that I built, like set design, all the things, and this tour being sold out, and like creating like an experience that people leave feeling super like empowered and free and excited, and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw that Latasha show. That was insane. That's what
I think you have like it's almost like that. I can see the beginning of that flywheel with FWB, like
Yeah.
that on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing to be that. Yeah, I just sold out experiences all over the world is what I want to really create, where people just leave feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel out of the matrix today.
I hope there's an album with a name related to the Matrix coming soon. That's so good.
More, maybe. Well, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, we're not getting the alpha today, folks. So back to the tech conversation. You've done some stuff over the summer for Onchain Summer, been working with Base. Like, what are you most excited about? Tell us a little bit about what you've enjoyed over the kind of Onchain Summer working with the Superchain folks. Like, give us your hot takes.
Shout out to the Superchain folks. My favorite thing is honestly seeing everybody win. Like seeing you like post and like you're like, yo, I'm making money out of this, and like seeing other homies do that too. That's my favorite part. I don't really have anything else crazy other than like everybody's fire content coming out and art coming out is like what I want. I just want people to be able to create what they want. So that's the thing that excites me the most about Superchain. And the idea, it's interesting because I feel like we've kind of cultivated this like interconnection with each other, you know, and like every chain coming together in this way, platform coming together in this way, artists coming together. You know, it's really nice to see that, while also seeing like competitiveness and like it's like makes a healthy balance for, you know, us for creation. And so I like that. I like seeing how this thing is starting to operate. It's cool to see a seed being planted and then just like little buds coming out and knowing what we got to add to, and you know, more sun, more water, what do we have to like give it. So yeah, that's my favorite part.
I love that you touched on, you know, like people that you know in the ecosystem being rewarded, because I think in the beginning, this idea of like build and you will be rewarded. Like for me, I was like, well, wait a minute, like I'm going to do this work and I may or may not get rewarded for doing it. Like the skepticism is valid because we have all been like used, manipulated, had our data sold as content creators, as creatives, as artists for decades, right? To the point where they did it without our permission. Like we became, you know, tools for ad money. Like, so we naturally had this like sense of like distrust.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think we can safely, like both of us can safely say, like, you know, we have built, shown up, shared about what we're building in this ecosystem and been rewarded for it. And I think the idea of what you said about like, and the competition is good. Like it can feel scary, like a little bit when you're like, wait, someone's coming up behind me and they're doing this. Like, but I think what it does, and it just makes you better, right?
Yeah, it makes you go harder and get better at the work that you're doing, and also like make yourself even more unique, you know. I really learned that being in this space. Like, okay, if this person's doing that and this person's doing that, what do I have that's unique to me that I could really strengthen? And so, yeah, I'm really, really loving that part because I'm seeing a lot of my friends do that. Like, shout out to Raven, who's like he's doing incredible educational work within the space. And it's so cool to witness him like just thrive off of that. So, yeah.
I got to hug Raven for the first time.
Oh, so that's my guy right there.
That was one of my favorite moments. Good human.
Yes, very good human. Good person for real.
So let's wrap this up with best advice that you could give to a creator, whether that's a musician or an artist or anything else who's coming into this ecosystem. In general, what would you tell them?
I would say get therapized, get some therapy before coming into this space.
Did not expect that. Did not see that one coming.
I really feel like people need therapy before getting in the space a little bit. That's just real. I'm not saying that it's a tough space to be in, but it is going to be a mind shifting
Mm.
space. And therefore you need to just be prepared for this mind shift that is going to come with it. And I think a lot of times artists come into it without that mind shift and then have a lot of expectations, have a lot of doubt, have a lot of fear, and it like snowballs into other things. So I'm like, get as much therapy as you can.
Step.
Founders, builders, creators, everybody get therapy. If you can, and if you can't get therapy, get a journal and start writing out what's going on with you. Yeah, that's like my number one offering.
That's so
Um,
funny.
yeah, just take care of yourself. That's
And
like
just,
the first.
my battery, of course, just said it was dying. So hold, we do not want that to happen. Here we go. Okay, we're good. We already failed out on one live stream today, so we don't want it to happen twice. And then just like, how can people support you? How can they learn more? How can they see you live? Please tell me.
Yeah, for sure. I won't be performing until next year again, I think. Wait, lying. I might have one secret show coming up actually. So I'll keep you guys posted on the secret show.
Amazing.
On tosh55.xyz. That's where all of my existence will be showing up. You could also follow me on all the socials at Call Me Latasha. And that's everything: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Yeah, and just be a part of this minting journey. So if you're interested in collecting digital content, I have so much out there. So go ahead and grab.
Go mint, and if you can't mint, if you don't have $1, re-share this video somewhere, and we will pick one person. No, we're going to pick 5 people because we got quite a few of these. We're going to give 5 of these away. So for your chance to get a hold of one of these amazing Latasha NFTs.
Yes, so grateful. Thank you so much,
Thank
Rachel.
you. I'm glad we got some time to connect, and thank you for sharing your heart and soul with the world and allowing us in on a little bit of your journey, Latasha. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Take care, Huns. Bye.
Thank you. This is the Super Chain Culture Show, friends. We will be back tomorrow. Thanks so much, everyone.